Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Shay's Hobby Dog Bay. This is still Thursday, still February, still the 22nd, still 2018. The time is I don't know. Elizabeth ain't walked in from work yet, still expect her any minute. Albert's still going to work. I'm still here by myself. I'm still making videos. This is my last video to make for today. Yay, because my throat's very irritating and coffee and alright, but I was tired, so I got me a chair over here and sat down. My phone. Why do I keep calling it my phone? It is my camera. A video camera, camera recorder, whatever the thing is called. I do not video on my phone. Cause he won't let me. I'd love to, but no, the stupid thing won't let me. Anyway, I'm also trying to lean, because if I do this, it kind of gets dark because of that window behind me. So if I do like this and kind of lean in front of the window, it lightens it and brightens it up a little bit more. Okay, this is a Saturday Shades and A's storytelling video that I'm going to use to put up this Saturday. So I looked at my list. I had 2 stories left, okay? I pulled up random.org on my laptop, and I put in minimum 1, maximum 2. I generated, it gave me 1. So, I wanted to sit down and take my time for this story because there's quite a little bit, if I can sit here and remember it all, that I really would like to tell y'all about. So what it is, I titled it, Things I Played as a Kid. So this was games that I made up, you know, make-believe, imagining, like kids do. And when I say that I played these things as a kid, I'm going to say that I was from the age of 5. Take that back. I was probably from the age 7. Because I really don't remember playing these type things. Mostly I played in the floor with my toys and watched cartoons. Now I did have an imaginary friend, which really wasn't an imaginary friend. She was a real friend that I had, but I only seen her at church and school. But when I was at home, I'd play like she was there with me. Her name was Nancy. I'd grab her hand and I'd talk to her and say, "Come on, Nancy, let's go do this," and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, but probably from the time I was 7, that's when we moved to the coast. And we moved from there when I was 11. So yeah, at 11. And even at, because my mind was 2 years younger than my age. And I played with baby dolls at 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. Wasn't ashamed of it either. So I still played these things as that younger teenage years. And got married at 18. Anyway. So, the things that I would play either by myself or with my friends, okay? So, outside, we played bakery. And we had a big, long backyard that went way back behind our house, and it didn't have grass, it was all dirt. My daddy had a big shop back there, my swing set was back there, and I rode my bike. So there was 2 big trees, and the swing set was between the trees, and I would ride my bike around those 2 trees, round and around and around. But anyway, bakery. Me and my friends actually got an old pot and some old bowls and old spoons. Her name was Gail. She was the granddaughter of the old couple that lived next door that had the swing that I've told y'all about I swung on. Me and my friends would swing and sing on it. Gail was this friend, and she would come over to my house, and in the backyard we would play bakery, and we literally mixed water in with the dirt and played in mud and played like we was making pies and cakes. So that was one of the games that I played with my friends. So, oh, there was all kinds of stuff. I literally, even by myself in the house, I would pull Mama's like canned food and boxed food and packaged food. Probably even pulled stuff out the refrigerator and set it on the table. And I had play money. I can't remember if I had a cash register. I might have did at one point in time anyway. So I played grocery store. And I played like, you know, I was the cashier checking out food for people. I even think I played like I was the one buying the food and somebody else was there. I remember playing this by myself. I can't really remember if I ever played that with any of my friends. I might have did, but I can't quite remember that one. You know how you remember some things and don't remember all of the others. But anyway, so that was one. Another one that we played inside, and I did play this with my friends, was library. And when I was at that young age, I used to love to, you know, I used to always say, I want to grow up and be a librarian and work in the library. Because I loved it, and I loved going to the library, and I loved watching them. Back those days, when I was little like that, and I think she just drove up. I can't tell. When I was little like that, back those days at the library, they actually had the card catalog, and you used it. And the card was actually in the little, my nose, hang on. The card was in the pocket, in the book, you know, inside the book. And I would love, every time I'd go and get books and they would check them out, I loved watching them. And they would take the cards and they would stamp it, you know, and put it back in there and stamp it. So I would use the library books that I had checked out, plus my books too. And in my books, I would make little pieces of paper that I just slipped inside there to use, you know. And I laid them, I can remember doing this on Mama's bed. I laid the books all out on the bed, and that was my library. And I was the library lady, and my friends would come and they would look and choose books. Some would be the real library books and some wouldn't be. And I would have something, I don't know what I use now, but I found something to use. It's like the little stamper. And so when they come up with their books, you know, I'd open them up, I'd pull the card out, and I'd stamp it and stick it back in there. And I was a librarian, you know, and we was playing library, and that was just so much fun to me. So that was something me and my friends played. So, let me see. There was so many different kinds of games that we played like that. The made-up games like that, make-believe. Me and my friends, we would play like we were either sisters or friends at different times, you know, whatever. But like if we were either one, we shared an apartment like and lived together. And then we'd have boyfriends and we'd go out on dates with our boyfriends, you know, or we'd go to work and we'd go shopping, and then we'd come home and talk to each other and tell each other about our day or about our date that we'd went on, you know, and all this kind of stuff. I used to play with my baby dolls, and I played like I was married, and that was my baby, and I would actually tote my baby on my hip, and I'd even walk outside with it, you know, and play like I was in town and running into a friend that I hadn't seen in a long time, and she didn't know I had gotten married and had a baby, and so I'd say, yeah, this is my baby, you know, and all this kind of stuff. So all of that was fun stuff that I played, and I played all that stuff from the age, like I said, I'm going to say from 7 to probably 15 or 16, and I got married at 18. So, and I know there's plenty more games that I played like that and made up, and I can't. Oh, school. I used to play school, yes. And I remember playing school when I was younger than 7, so I'm gonna say from 5 on. I played school with another friend. Probably several different ones, but it's like you remember these certain friends that you play these certain games with, you know. So anyway, we played school, and I would be the teacher. I had this, matter of fact, hang on a second. It's over here on my table. I'm picking up the stuff that's on it because my Gracie girl plays with it now. And you know, back then when I was a kid and had it, I hope y'all can hear me. I never thought back then, you know, that one day I would be a granny and my granddaughter would be playing with this very thing that is a toy of mine that I play with now as a little kid. You know, I never thought that back then. See this right here? Chalkboard on both sides. This thing is old. This was mine when I was little. But this was on an easel, okay? So it had the legs, the 4 legs, and it spread it out, and it was sitting there, and it was leaned back. I think it leaned back like this. I think it turned. Let me see. Yeah. There's a hole. Not that y'all can see. See that hole right there? And then on this side, right, come on, get in front of the mirror, the window. Sherry, block it so they can see. Right there's a hole. So it would turn like this on the easel. But there was another frame part around it. It wasn't just this hanging up there. I can't remember now just what all it looked like. It was an older one. It ain't nothing. I have not seen any. They have a lot of kids' easels with chalkboards on it. One side even has a white part to it. Mine didn't have that. Mine had this on both sides and it turned. I don't think there was a white part on the back side. Might have been. But this still turned somehow. Maybe that's what it was, because I'm remembering something at the bottom of it that was maybe about so wide, and it was at the bottom. Maybe that was a little white part. But then it also had the tray where the chalk laid and stuff like that. And I had that, and that's what I played on, you know, and I was the teacher and right on it. My friend would be the student, or vice versa. And so we just had so much fun doing that. And I can remember, I think I've told y'all the story about bringing these little papers home from school. It was work papers. That it was a special education class I had to go in. And we worked on those papers in that class. But the teacher had a box full of them. I love that class for this reason. And she would let us pick out as many as we wanted and take home with us every time. And boy, I'd load up on them and I'd bring them home. And I loved working those papers and playing school with them at home with my friends. Oh, that was so fun. But yeah, I have this, and this is all I have left of it. I don't know why I have this part and don't have the frame. I guess it broke and got thrown away or whatever. Mama, do you remember? Becca, Charlotte. Anyway, my Gracie girl writes on this now. Her chalk, and that's what I bought that eraser for the other day, for her to use on this, because we've been using paper towel. Her loves it. This was mine as a kid, and my baby girl Gracie writes on it. Oh, that is so sweet and neat. I love it. Okay, but yeah, that's one of the things. So school, librarian, you know, friends and married and babies and boyfriends, and what else did I say? Bakery for mud pies outside, grocery shopping and checking out. What else all did I play? Oh, I know a game I used to play with my granny when I would stay with her. And I think I've even told y'all about this before. For some reason during this time, I was really into writing letters. I had some pen pals, I think, and I was writing them and I enjoyed it. And I wanted to write. I wanted to play. So I asked Granny, I said, Granny, will you play like we're friends and we live far apart and we write each other letters? And she would be washing dishes or doing around and about in her trailer. And so I would go in a bedroom and get some paper and I'd write her a letter. I had a certain spot that was the mailbox, you know. I'd fold it up and put it in something. I'd put it in that mailbox. But then I'd say, okay, Granny, check your mail, you know. So she would check it and get the letter and she would get it. And she'd read it and she'd actually write me a little note and fold it up and put it back in the mailbox. And then I would check it, you know. We did that. That was fun, too. What else? I know there's so much more, you know. And I just can't think of all of it right now. But that's the things that I can think of. And then other than riding my bicycle outside and then playing the other kind of, I don't know why, y'all may, I don't know. But I consider these type games I just told y'all about different from just playing outside, riding your bicycle, playing the games like Mother May I, 1, 2, 3, Red Light, Red Rover, Red Rover. We played all those, but I consider those different kind of games than these. You know, I don't know why, but anyway. And we would also, like, if it rained but didn't thunder and lightning and it was only a little bit, or after it rained and there was puddles in the road, the street we lived on, it wasn't busy, it was houses, you know. We'd get out and sit in the puddles and play in them and splash in them. That was fun. Oh, we played like Duck Duck Goose, a Tisket a Tasket, something in a basket. See, I don't remember what that is now. Colored Eggs was one of the games we played too. But just, you know, playing out with the friends, riding the bike and playing those games. But then these other type games was different type games. I felt like I'm sure all kids probably did, but I guess at the time I felt like these are games I've came up with to play, you know. But anyway, so it was fun. That's the games and stuff that I used to play as a kid and a teenager, young teenager. So, tell me if y'all enjoyed it. tell me in the comments below if y'all ever played any of the kinds of games that I mentioned here today. And then if you've played any that I didn't mention, I would really be interested to know what types of games you played as a kid. What things you came up with and made up and made believe, imaginary and played. That would be fun for me to know. So please, tell me about them in the comments below, okay? Alright, so that's all I have for you for today. So I'm out of here until next time. I'm done. I'm going to toodaloo.